The new Nvidia Geforce RTX 5080 graphics card is here, and if you want to build a new PC that will destroy 1440p and 4K resolution gaming, then you came to the right place. I'll show you the best RTX 5080 PC build that you can get right now to play any game that you want, whether it's esports games like Fortnite, Valorant and CS2, or high demanding ones like Cyberpunk 2077. I'll show you optional upgrades and downgrades, so if you have between 1900 USD all the way up to 2200, then you will find the perfect PC for your budget and needs. The links to these exact same systems with the new RTX 5080 will be down below in the video description with the latest pricing and availability in your region. My name is Valentino. That being said, let's start. We start by talking about the main system. This is the one that I recommend for most people for gaming because it has the fastest CPU in the entire market in the Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Now, by the time of filming, this CPU it's in stock and it's the one that will give you the highest FPS among all CPUs in the entire market. So if you play high CPU demanding titles like esports shooters, let's say you want to play games like Valorant or Fortnite or CS2 competitive settings, you can max out any monitor refresh rate, whether that's 4K 480Hz, 1440p 480Hz, or if you want to play at 1080p 540Hz, you can max out any of those monitor refresh rates with no issues. And then of course, if you want to play other high CPU demanding games like Hogwarts Legacy in some areas of the map, or if you want to play a game like Flight Simulator which requires a ton from your CPU, then this is going to be the perfect CPU for you. And it's also pretty decent for content creation and productivity work, so you can also do video editing or just any type of production work. Here you get 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, so you will have no issues when it comes to streaming as well, and as I said before, content creation will be perfectly fine in this computer. Here you also get a premium BA50 motherboard with Wi-Fi included, but of course if you are a pro gamer, especially if you play those esports games, I always recommend you playing with an Ethernet cable. Then you get 2TB of SSD, so you get plenty of storage to install a bunch of games or a bunch of programs or transfer heavy files if you are a content creator, and you get one of the best value cases in the entire market in my opinion, in the Montech King 65 Pro. This one comes with 3 pre-installed RGB fans. It looks very clean, in my opinion it looks beautiful, and the airflow is actually top tier for the price that you are paying. Of course you get an aftermarket CPU cooler for the Ryzen 7 9800X3D, which is an RGB CPU air cooler that's going to keep the temps down, and it's definitely going to be enough for this Ryzen 7 processor. And then of course for the GPU you get the new Nvidia Geforce RTX 5080. In terms of the level of gaming performance, with the RTX 5080 you can expect around 11 to 18% faster performance than the RTX 4080 Super, meaning that you will get a really good level of gaming performance at 4K and 1440p resolution. In a test from TechSpot at 4K resolution high to ultra settings in the latest games, the 5080 was able to average over 90 FPS, and in the same test at 1440p it was able to average over 140 FPS. So if you play at 1440p you will be able to max out any game settings, even if you want to play with ray tracing or path tracing, and if you play at 4K you can play any game at 4K ultra settings. But if you want to turn on path tracing, in some games it will be definitely doable, but in others I recommend you turning on the LSS quality. Now, even though we can all agree that the 5080 is not a huge jump over the 4080 or 4080 Super, it is still the best GPU at this price point. So if you have around 2000 USD to spend, the 5080 will be your best option. And again, in terms of gaming performance, you will not be complaining even if you play at 4K in the latest, most high demanding games. The total price by the time of filming is around 2050 bucks, which is a very fair price considering you are getting the fastest CPU in the market and one of the fastest graphics cards in the entire market as well in the 5080. Now, if you have more money to spend, you can actually have some better components around the 5080 and around the 9800X3D. Now, the first component I would upgrade is the CPU cooler, and I would go with a 240 liquid cooler. This one is from Montech, so you match the case fans as well. And then I would upgrade the power supply from an 850 watt power supply, which is going to be enough, but I would upgrade to 1000 just in case you want to make some upgrades on the line that are going to require more of your power supply. Now, the total price if you make these upgrades will be around $2,150, so it's a bit more expensive, but I do recommend you making these upgrades if you have the money. And then one thing that you can also change is the CPU itself. You can go from a Ryzen 7 9800X3D to something like a Ryzen 9 9900X, which is a 12-core processor that I do recommend you buying if you're a content creator and you want to prioritize those type of tasks and you want to do gaming more on the side, because the 9800X3D, yes, is the fastest one for gaming, but trust me, if you get a 9900X, you will not notice the difference, especially in those high demanding GPU titles like Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p or 4K resolution high to ultra settings. So if you need every FPS, go ahead and get the 9800X3D, but again, if you want a better all-around CPU, the 9900X is slightly cheaper and it's going to give you a better performance in those type of tasks. So the price by going with the 9900X and every upgrade I mentioned is going to be under 2100 USD. And then if you want to build a PC with the RTX 5080 for under 2000 USD, then I do recommend you downgrading the CPU from the 9800X3D to the Ryzen 7 9700X. Now, the 9700X is quite cheaper, it's slightly slower, but again, if you are going to be playing high demanding games at 1440p or 4K resolution, most likely you will not even notice the difference. You will only notice the difference if you want to play at 1080p and you want to play those high CPU demanding games, because at that point you will most likely be CPU limited. But for most people, you will most likely not notice the difference for most games. Now, going with this cheaper CPU will make the entire build around $1,890, so it's going to be quite cheaper, and again, you will be getting a system for well under 2000 USD with the new Nvidia RTX 5080. And if you need a more personal PC help and you want a new gaming PC with a different graphics card, or maybe you want a pre-built PC, or you just have a different budget or need, then I recommend you asking for my personal PC help. That's going to be the top link in the description, and down below you will also find the gaming PCs with the RTX 5080 with the latest prices and availability in your region. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.